So, hi guys. Today's something a little bit different. It's the first video I've ever recorded, first video I'm ever doing, and I'm really, really nervous. But it's just something I wanted to do. It's not something I've seen on YouTube. It's not something I've seen out and about that many people do. So I'm gonna show you how I do my glam but not so glam look. So, most people when you think of makeup, you think of foundation, you think of bronzer, you think of the base. Now, I don't use a full base because I don't like foundation. I don't like the way it looks on my skin. I don't like the way it clogs me. It just breaks me out constantly. No matter what foundation I use, it will clog me. So years and years ago, I just put a bit of mascara on and that was it. And then slowly over time, I built up my regime, and now I have almost a full makeup look, but it's a bit different. So we're going to start, and I'm going to go through my whole routine from start to finish. And if I like the footage, then I'll post it. If I don't, then that'll be it. You'll just be able to see what I do. A little bit about me. My name is Georgia. I am 22 years old. I'm from England, as you can hear by my accent. I'm a mother of one. I have a 4-month-old baby who is currently lying down there. This is the only real place I've got to record. So this is my living room, which is where you could probably hear my son talking away to himself. He's such a dote. Now, being a mum, you don't really have much time to do a full glam look as well. So this is perfect for me. And even before I was a mum, this is what I do every day. I say it's gonna be my everyday. And then slowly, if I like the footage or if people react to it well, I'll do more and more looks. I'm not very colourful. I like my basic tones, my oranges, my browns, my blacks. I've only just started doing eyeliner. Still not the best, but we work with it. I've only really just started implementing a full skincare routine. That only started to happen just after my son was born because my skin was horrendous. I hated it. So I actually, splurged that little bit on bits of skincare that I thought was worth it. I did all my research, and makeup I've been using for years. Because then I started with something as simple as just mascara and a bit of lippy, and then slowly over time I've worked it up. So yeah, I'm going to show you today how to get my not so glam look. Right, start and put my hair up because it's very long. Yes, it is dyed. And though it's not my roots, this is what it's meant to look like, but it's fading very, very quickly, and today it has dry shampoo in it because I'm a mum and cannot be bothered with washing my hair every day. So I probably wash my hair twice, 3 times a week if I'm lucky. My dog might bark throughout this, but I will try and edit that out if she does. So I'm waiting on the delivery, that's why I keep looking outside. So first we started, so I've already cleansed my skin and I've already toned. So I use the Elemis Soothing Apricot Toner, the Calming Facial Toner for delicate skin, apricot, saponins, sweet Betty flower, and it soothes, calms, and refreshes. I can't remember how much this was. I think it was like £25 and looked fantastic, but it's really, really good. I really like it. It's really good for soothing the skin. And then so next I will go in with my serum. So the serum that I use is the Vitamin Nectar Glow Juice Antioxidant Face Serum from Fresh. I really like this. It was one of the first serums I ever used, but I loved it. I just love the way it made my face feel, and it's had very mixed reviews. Have a sip of coffee. It's had very mixed reviews on whether it works, but I find that it does. I feel like it makes my skin that refreshed and that vibrant. You probably won't be able to tell that much because I am recording off my laptop camera. Luckily, I'm very fortunate enough. I have a decent enough camera on my laptop. But yeah, it's not the greatest. But if if this is something that I like, then who knows? And I have a pod in, so yes, this is what the little glow juice looks like. It's very nice. It's very fancy. I find very fancy for me. So it says that Fresh Vitamin Nectar Glow Juice as an energizing antioxidant face serum that provides daily protection against damaging free radicals that can lead to dull, lackluster complexion. So I do find that this helps my complexion a bit. So I'll get a bit in the pipette. I just do that along my skin. You don't need a lot, and it's only only small as well, but I find that you don't need a lot to get that little bit of just oomph in the skin. And you just rub it in like that. So, and I always rub upwards because that was sort of the best thing that I was taught. So don't put it near your eyes because it has got it's vitamin C and it can be a bit. It all depends on how your skin reacts to it. It can be a bit sort of hit and miss with certain people, but because it's quite nice on the skin, but I find it doesn't irritate me. But I'm finding that somebody with more sensitive skin, my skin is quite sensitive, but not too sensitive. It could be quite harsh because it is vitamin C. It's quite a low amount of vitamin C there. So I do that, and then next I go in with the CeraVe facial moisturizing lotion for normal to dry skin, the AM SPF. SPF, wear it. I've only just discovered it. Works miracles. And I find this is really nice. I like how it has the pump. Gotta love a pump. And it's really hydrating on the skin. Obviously, it provides that SPF barrier. And I just find it really, really good for your skin, especially if your skin's feeling a little bit dry on certain days, which mine does most of the days. As long as I keep up with the skincare routine, I'm going to take my ring off. As long as you keep up with sort of a skincare routine, your skin sort of enjoys it. But I find that my skin can become quite dry, and especially coming into the winter months. So you just slap it on, as so, and already you can see that sort of shine to my skin, and that really nice, and it just forms a lovely moisturising protective barrier over the skin. So yeah, that's really, really good. So next I'm going to go in with the CeraVe Eye Repair Cream. Fab stuff, love it. You don't need to spend a lot on eye creams because they are just a bit of faff sometimes. You're spending £30-40 on a tiny pot of eye cream. This was £15, I think, from Boots. So it's still, it's not cheap, but it's still not something like where you go to spend £40. So I find you spend £40 on a little pot of eye cream, and you're spending like £23 on a massive pot of moisturiser. It's like, why not use the same? But if you do want something that's an eye cream that's going to help with those dark circles, because as you can tell, I have dark circles. I'm a mom. My child is very lucky. He sleeps really well, but you're still at times not getting that full. So I find that this just really, really rejuvenates the skin, especially the under eye. So I do a little bit like that, and a little bit like that. And this is really good as well for when you go to put makeup on, because it's soothed out and it's not as puffy. And I'm just very delicately rubbing that in. You don't want to pull too hard because that's what causes you wrinkles, which I do have on the sides of my eyes because I'm a bit of an idiot and never really. I thought the skincare at first was just a load of copper to goop, but it's actually not. It does work. But yeah, I love this stuff. It is brilliant, and it was something that I'd recommend to everyone now. If they're looking for an eye cream, then CeraVe. If you're looking for a facial moisturiser, CeraVe. My other favourite moisturiser is the Clinique Moisture Surge 24-hour intense moisturiser. Fabulous, love it. I'm running low, so I'm trying not to use it as much. I'm not in a fortunate position where I can go out and just buy skincare on a whim. So yeah, and then the last step of my skincare in the morning, I will use the Elemis Superfood Kefir Tea Mist Priming Hydrating Mist for all skin types. It has Arabia's tea, kefir for men, and coconut water in it, so it nourishes, hydrates, and primes. Now, I don't necessarily use this as a primer. That looks like I'd more use it for a sort of that hydrating element. As I said, I've got really dry skin at times, so I use it as a hydrating element. It's quite nice, and the mist on it is gorgeous. So there we go. And then I would just let that sit. I would just let that sort of sink into the skin, and you don't need a lot, so you don't use a lot. I think this is £20 or something like that. Fantastic. I've only just really started to get into Elemis skincare, and they're actually really good products. Stuff that the two things that I'm sort of trying are really good, so that will just sort of sink into the skin and be really nice. It smells quite, it smells quite spicy. It does smell quite that exotic sort of scent. but it's really nourishing on the skin, and I love it. It's a lot of skincare that I find that I use in the mornings, and at night I tend to use that a little bit more. You know, I double cleanse at night. You've got to double cleanse, because if I'm wearing makeup throughout the day, then I want to make sure it's all off and my skin's ready to tone, and and so on and so forth. So next step of my routine, we go on to primer. So I have the mini photo finish minimize pores primer from Smashbox. Now I've only just started trying this. I am enjoying it. It's a very thick consistency. You can compare it to stuff like the Benefit primer, which is like a really thick sort of consistency. If you can see that, it's really nice, but it's really good for sort of for minimizing those pores. Now, as I said, I don't wear foundation, so you know, people are probably thinking, why are you using primer? Because I've got really enlarged pores, funny enough, and I just want something that is going to cover those pores. You know, I want to look airbrushed, but just not be wearing anything that's going to airbrush me. So I just dot that on the skin just there, and I make sure to press it into my pores to make sure I'm getting decent, sort of healthy coverage from it. And use a little bit more. Now I only have the mini version because I got it in a set, but that's just because I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, so I didn't want to buy the full size and end up not liking it. So then I will do the other side. Make sure you get the nose, and voila, there you go. Oh, concealer. Well, not concealer. Don't know what I'm talking about. Your primer is complete. Now I'm not going to say I'm a makeup guru because I'm not. I barely know how to do my own makeup, but I thought some people might find this quite helpful. So next thing we go on to is priming the eyes. So I did my eyeshadow. I've only just started it, but I'm actually finding I love doing my eyeshadow more first rather than after, because that way if there's any fallout, I've started using such darker shadows. If there's any fallout, I can sort of minimize it and grab it. Just tilt down. So I use the Real Technique sponge because I won't be spending so much on my beauty blender when I only use it for, you know, priming my eyes and doing my concealer. I like it because it has the pointed tip so you can really get in there, but it also has sort of sharp edge as well. So if you really want to get onto that top sharp edge, is really, really good for doing it. So I have the, if I can find it, I did have it, here we go. So for priming my eyes, I don't use an eye primer. I don't see the point in it. Concealer will just do a bang up job. So I use the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade L5 Neutral. I like this concealer. I do. I have found better. My favourite one was the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I used to use that in the shade Vanilla, and you know what, that was my perfect concealer. This one I thought I'd try. It has nice consistency. It's quite thick. It's quite full coverage, which is what I like. But you really do have to set it down, and you really do have to sort of work quick with it because it can crease quite quickly. But for me, it's sort of just there. It's there. I've got it, so I'll use it. And then when I run out, I wouldn't rush to repurchase it. If I was going to repurchase something, I'd probably repurchase the NARS. But that was just sort of my light use, you know. So I'm just going to dab that on the eyes. So go on the eyelids. And then we're going to blend that in like you would. So you just bouncing it in. So you want to set this down, because if you try and go over the top of this with you know, your eyeshadow or whatever, it's not going to blend out properly. So you want to set it down. So I typically use my Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette, and I will use, to set it down, I will use the first shade in Levitation. And I will just pat that down like that. Won't use a hell of a lot, and this does have a lot of kickback as well. I'll just set that down. Make sure it's completely matte, ready to go in with our shadows. There you go. So right, for eyeshadow, I've been absolutely loving and using anytime I've got makeup on at the moment. Still have it in the box because I'm scared to ruin it. I have the Natasha Denona Glam palette. I am obsessed. It is gorgeous. It's brilliant for everyday neutral colours. Looks like so. And it's really good. Yes, I'm watching Lady in the Tramp. It's really good for somebody who's just starting out as well, because it has sort of your crease, your transition. The shades are all for where it should go on the eye. Now, it is quite pricey. It is £60. But for Natasha Denona, that is quite cheap for a sort of a full-size palette like this. But it does have everything you want in there. It has 5 matte shades and the rest are all shimmers. So, but those 5 matte shades you can do quite a lot with, and then there's a lot of shimmers sort of that you can work with as well. And so what I do is I take a big fluffy brush, which is this. This is the Morphe E23. I love this because it's such a big fluffy blending brush. And I will take the shade Crease on my brush. These have a lot of fallout, and I will just pat that just there. Oh god. And then I will blend. And I will blend it all the way across. I've got a black eye. You don't want to take a lot of these because they are very pigmented. And tap off the excess and then go again. And blend on the other eye. So there is your first colour down. And then I will take another fluffy blending brush. And this is number 7 from Rio Cosmetics. I got a massive pouch for like 30 quid. You can't go wrong. I love Morphe. I do. But massive pouch for 30 quid. You can't go wrong. Now I'll take Transition, which is sort of a white neutral shade. And I will place that into my transition. And just set it down for any other colours that we'd be going in with. Like so. And then I will take Blend, which is kind of a warm brown colour. It's quite beautiful. I'll just pop that there and then I will blend. I'll just blend it on the outer lid and then I will bring it in like so. I'll pop it there again and just bring in like so. And sometimes if I look that it's too dark on one eye, I will take a little bit of powder and I will just dab it on it and then blend. And there you go. And that is literally 3 colours, which is Crease, Transition, Blend. That is all I use from this palette. And this at the moment has been my go-to palette and I do absolutely adore it. I love And it is great for just that everyday look. If you are looking for that more smokier colour, Natasha Denona does have a few palettes like this that have those really nice colours, but a bit warmer. I wanted to go for something a bit deeper and a bit, just that little bit of transition for me. I'm not used to sort of darker colours. I go usually to my oranges, but I thought I wanted to try something that was a bit different for me. So we will come back to eyeshadow in a minute. So next I do my liner. So I use of course, the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper Black. I love this. I have this size and then I have a mini size. And I love it. It's so good. So good. It's so black. And all I do is I just line the top of my eyes. And sometimes I'll do a wing, but it all depends on how I'm feeling. So I will literally go down. I'll place it where I want to go. I'll just drag. Like so. And that adds that little bit more volume when you do mascara. Same eye. Do it again. So I'm not going to do a line. I'm not going to do a wing because it's not my everyday look to do a wing. Wing somewhere where I'm feeling a bit fancy. It's not perfectly straight, but that doesn't matter because you can't see it. So there you go. And then next I go in with my mascara. So my mascara is a new favourite for me. It is the Go Big or Go Home mascara from KVD Vegan Beauty. The liner is KVD Vegan Beauty. It just still says Kat Von D on it, which is just a bit shitty, but well. And I love this. It's genuinely Go Big or Go Home. It's so big and it's just what you want. It's just what you want, and the brush is nice and fat as well. Nice and fat, and it gives off a lot of product, but it doesn't give off too much product where you're going to clump, because that's not what you want. You don't want to clump. So then I will just go in with this, and I will do a couple of layers, just because I like my lashes to have that added volume. So I'll go in with the other one. I will dip again, just to make sure there's enough product on there, and I'll go again. And that's just one coat. No, I don't have naturally long lashes at all, but I just like to have that extra coat. So I'm going with the extra coat. That is the eyes then completed. So next we're gonna, well, it's not the eyes completed because I'm gonna go in with my inner corner. But first I like to do my concealer just so I don't accidentally go over my inner corner. So once again I'm going in with the KVD Vegan Beauty Lock-It Concealer. And I just plonk right there and then drag it across a bit. Not too far. Plonk and drag. I like to get a little bit up towards my inner corner because that's where I've got the most darkness. Drag. I look a bit weird at the moment. And then I used to use my fingers, so I used to pat, but I found I wasn't getting, it was creasing too quickly and I wasn't getting what I wanted from it, which is why I started using a beauty blender. So I will go in with my beauty blender. You just get a more seamless finish if you use a beauty blender. And then the other eye. And voila. And you can still see I have like really dark crease here. So I like to go in with sort of a little bit more. If I feel like that first coat hasn't done it, then I will go back in just there and just there, and then I will just pounce that out again. That was my concealer dropping. I'm clumsy as anything. There we go, a seamless finish. So then I will grab my Charlotte Tilbury brush. I don't know which brush it is, but I use it. And then I will go into the two colours here. So I will go in there and I'll tap 4 times. So that is Levitation and Lyric. And then I will just dab under my eyes. I'm finding it's both brightening but also setting at the same time. I do love the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Powder, which I've been using for ages now. It's a present off my mum. And there you go. See, already my concealer has started to crease, which is not what I wanted, but hey ho. I also love the KVD Vegan Beauty Lock-It Concealer. Absolute, not concealer, the powder. Absolutely adore the powder. Just makes you look airbrushed instantly, honestly. So, been up for 8 hours and I still have sleep in my eye. You can tell I'm tired. So then I'm going to go back in with my Natasha Denona palette. I'm going to take a very small pointed brush like so. This is the Zoeva 230 Luxe Pencil. And I'm going to take the shade that says Inner Corner, which is just this one here. And I'm going to dab a little bit of that. And then I'm going to place that on my inner corner, like so. Doing your eyes, inner corner is always a must because it just adds that little bit of dimension. Even if you don't want sparkle, I recommend sort of a light colour, so like a white or like a cream, will definitely add that just that extra bit of dimension that you need. So one second. Hi baby. Hi gorgeous. Here you go. My little one is going off to sleep. That's my few attempts before he actually does go off to sleep. So yeah, so that's the eyes and the concealer and stuff like that done. And so you think, oh, okay, right, next it's time for foundation. Or you would have put your foundation before your concealer. No, not at all. So this is what I call a glam but not so glam look. As you can see, it may look a bit strange on camera, but in person, you can't tell that there is concealer under my eyes. It sort of all just meshes into the skin. And you use, rather than sort of when you use foundation, where you use the shade lighter, just use your own shade. And it really does just brings everything together. Your skin looks healthier, you look healthier because you've got makeup on, but you're not overloading your skin with foundation and with bronzer and with blush. Now I do use a little bit of blush, so I'm currently using, which I'm loving because it's not too pigmented, but it's also such a pretty shade. It's the Natasha Denona Blush Glow Duo, which is this one here. And I use that shade, which is so pretty. And I take it on the Rio Cosmetics number 3 brush, so it's an angled brush. Literally take a dab of it, and then I will just smile and go. And sort of pat it down. And once again, that sort of gives you the healthy, refreshed look. Now I defy the laws of everything here because I'm putting powder just on bare skin, but it works and I enjoy it. So then And we're nearly at the end now. I'm then going to go in with my Morphe M501, which is my highlighting brush, and I'm going to take a bit of the highlight that's in here as well. I'm going to dab, 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 and then I'm going to go in at the high points of my cheek, so there, and then I'm just going to this highlighter isn't too highlighter isn't too dramatic, so you don't really have to worry about overdoing it. So I've got on the nose, a little bit on the mouth. So yeah, my favourite highlighter is the Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop. But I smashed to smithereens, and I'd rather not bring it downstairs because I have grey carpet. So yeah, and a baby. So I also use the highlighter from the Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow Duo. The bronzer I mainly use for my eyes because I don't use bronzer because I don't need it. So I use it for my eyes. I use it for sort of shading in my eyes. A really good little duo. Love it. So lastly, I always go in with my lips. Now, I have a few different combinations depending on what I'm doing and where I'm staying. Sometimes I will just use just like a basic lip balm. So I use the Fresh lip treatment. Love it. It's so good for that hydration. I'm also using the Lano Lips tinted lip balm with SPF 30. Also SPF, great, love it. Love this little one. I have started using, when I'm going out, I have started using the KVD Vegan Beauty Studded Kiss lipstick in Cathedral. It is a lovely shade. It's quite dark, but it's a lovely shade if you can see that. It's like such a lovely brown, sort of reddy shade. I find it really good. It just looks like it just look healthy. And then I also love, which is a lip gloss. So my favourite lip gloss is on the Marc Jacobs. I love them. Sugar Sugar was my favourite. I haven't actually gotten out to getting another one yet. So I will find that and I'll probably have that in a few weeks, maybe for Christmas. Put on my Christmas list. But I also love the NARS lip glosses, and this is in the shade Pulsant. Now Pulsant, it wasn't really what I expected when I got it. I thought it was going to be darker than what it is, but it's quite pink. Quite a pinky shade. But I've actually become in love with it. And it is gorgeous, and I love these. The consistency is really nice because your lips look glossy, but they're not sticky. You don't have that sticky consistency. So because I'm staying at home today and I'm not really doing a lot, I've got some housework to do, but that's about it. My partner will be home in a few hours. I'm just gonna go in with the Lano lips today. So this is really thick consistency, but it's so cheap. I think it's about £8, but for a bit of SPF and sort of, it's a really nice hygiene. I just need one tiny squeeze, rub together, and then you go again. And the top like so. And there you go. And that is completed. Now the Lano lips gives that lovely shine. It's quite thick and moisturising. I have really dry lips. My lips are horrendous. And there we go. So it's my lips but better. Essentially, that's what I love. The shade and like contour palette, you're probably thinking, you don't contour, so why do you need a big palette like that? I use it for eyeshadow. I love it for eyeshadow. It's not what it's meant to be used for, but it's great. And I love KVD Vegan Beauty. I did love it when it was Kat Von D, but controversy. Nobody probably knows who's going to watch my video, or if anybody does. So the last step, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, I go in with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water Set, Refresh and Respray. And I just spray a little bit of that, and then I'm good to go for the day. That gives me that glow from within. Now this uses up quite quickly because I've only used it twice, maybe 3 times, and I'm already that far through. So I don't know if it will be a repurchase or not, but we'll see. So yeah, this is my not so glam look. So it's literally so many easy steps, and it's so simple to do, and it's so quick and effective. Now obviously it hasn't been this quick today because I've been talking through it and explaining what I've been doing, but generally on a day-to-day basis it takes me about 10 minutes, and it's great. Having a newborn and needing to get out of the house quickly and stuff like that, it's just perfect for days like that. And I wouldn't be without, I couldn't be without this makeup look. you know, I have tried foundation in the past, and I don't like it the way it agreed with my skin, so I found an alternative, and I hope you guys like the alternative. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if enough people like what they see, I will start posting more. I'll probably do, you know, once a week updates and stuff, and I will do all sorts. It won't just be makeup. It can be skincare. It will be, you know, Q&As and stuff like that. I will link my Instagram in the description bar below if you want to give me a follow. I am private, but in the sort of, if this gains traction, I will make an Instagram purely for this, just because I post a lot of photos of my son on my main Instagram, and you know, strangers from the internet, I don't really want staring at my boy. If that makes sense. I don't know, I kind of sound like a creep when I say that, but so yeah, I hope you like I said, like and subscribe, if this gets enough traction. And thank you for watching, and I will see you, hopefully see you again. If I don't, then so be it. Thank you. Bye. So I did mean to add as well, this is the full makeup look. It's quite grainy because I've sat down and stuff. And this is what it looks like when my hair is down and my hair is sort of, it's not done. This is just been washed and it has dry shampoo in it. I'm quite lucky that I have full bouncy hair. So yeah, this is what it looks like all together. You wouldn't be able to tell that I'm just wearing concealer. So yeah, I hope you like it. There you go.